61 and now desperate for dirt, any dirt on Donald Trump. They are frenetic. They're going to the well. 70 hours Michael Cohen apparently spent with the special prosecutor. One-time Trump attorney pled guilty to a charge of lying to Congress over something called the Moscow Project. Now, Cohen is now claiming that the Trump organization continued to negotiate the financed by Russia name lease of Trump deal of a potential building in Russia during the 2016 election. He first said discussions had ended in January of 2016. Now he's saying they ended in June of 2016. The destroyed Trump media, of course, used these anonymous sources. They're saying that Cohen, get this, allegedly told investigators he was negotiating a deal in Moscow to maybe gift Vladimir Putin a $50 million penthouse in the proposed building project that Donald Trump wasn't paying for so that rich Russian oligarchs would want to live there. And just moments ago, John Roberts reported a source close to the president calling it, quote, nuts. It would be a stupid idea, and the president never heard of any such deal. And by the way, this deal, guess what? It never, ever, ever happened. The project never got off the ground. No Trump Organization investments were ever made, and today the Trump Organization has no buildings in Russia. You wouldn't know it if you were watching the mainstream media. There's, by the way, even if it had happened, this is the most fascinating part, there's no crime here. None whatsoever. Donald Trump was a real estate mogul in New York. That's what he did his whole adult life and how he made a living. And he invested in many other countries. By the way, doesn't every politician that gets paid with our money, don't they get paid when they're out campaigning for the next election by us? And in 2017, this potential project was widely reported everywhere by just about every outlet. Fake news, CNN, ABC News, so did The Hill, almost every other news network. In other words, we knew this. This is not a news story. In any way is it a news story. It's been reported on extensively. However, that doesn't matter to the left, and it certainly didn't matter to Robert Mueller. He's more interested in making the mainstream media bubble and fizz like Alka-Seltzer and water, and he's just desperate. All he wants to do every day is mention Russia in some way, indicting all these former KGB guys, all their intelligence people that he's never bringing to the United States ever, under any circumstances, just so he can mention Russia, fomenting breathless reporting to give credibility to his never-ending witch hunt. And by the way, Robert Mueller is playing your media with their bias and their hate of Trump just like a fiddle. So the truth is, putting aside all the conspiratorial reporting from people that say they're fair, balanced, objective, and they're not, your mainstream media, even if Michael Cohen's timeline revelation was accurate, let's say it is, that it wasn't January, it was June. No crime was committed, ever. It wouldn't be a crime. Legal scholar Alan Dershowitz is going to join us in just a minute, summed it up perfectly. Take a look.
Almost all the indictments secured by Mueller have either been indictments of people lying, that is, for committing crimes that didn't occur before he was appointed, but occurred as the result of his being appointed, or finding financial misconduct by people that are unrelated to the president or unrelated to the Russia probes. This new development with Cohen suggests that they're going to go after political issues, not just criminal issues.
Alan Dershowitz is dead on accurate. And by the way, just telling the truth. And whatever happened, maybe I'm old-fashioned, but I kind of believed in attorney-client privilege. If Cohen was, in fact, working for the Trump Organization as a lawyer, how can Mueller and Cohen just break what is a pretty ethical mandate, especially when there's no crime? Now, of course, despite all of this, there's no evidence of Trump-Russian collusion. Nothing. Zero. And today, President Trump, he weighed in on the Cohen guilty verdict with some pretty harsh words. Take a look.
He's lying about a project that everybody knew about. I mean, we were very open with it. We were thinking about building a building. I decided ultimately not to do it. There would have been nothing wrong if I did do it. If I did do it, there would have been nothing wrong. He's a weak person and not a very smart person. He's got himself a big prison sentence. And he's trying to get a much lesser prison sentence by making up a story. Now, here's the thing. Even if he was right, it doesn't matter, because I was allowed to do whatever I wanted during the campaign.
And by the way, we're going to get to this issue. I call it the Sammy the Bull Gravano well, syndrome, if you will, how prosecutors offer deals. Tell us this, and you get a get out of jail free card or lower sentence, lesser sentence. Now, the president's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, he also weighed in. He said, quote, Michael Cohen is lying. It's no surprise that Cohen lied to Congress. He's a proven liar who is doing everything he can to get out of a long-term prison sentence for serious crimes of bank and tax fraud that had nothing to do with the Trump organization. Look, I know Michael Cohen. He has a wonderful family. I can't imagine the pressure he's under. I'm not going to pile on. He's got a lot of hard things that he's facing. But this is important. If this is Mueller's big witness, it is fair to ask, who are we to believe? The Michael Cohen then or the Michael Cohen now? That's a fair question. This is just the latest example of what is Mueller's concerted effort to turn the screws on everyone who's ever associated with President Trump. Let's look at the list. Michael Flynn, no Russia collusion. He pled guilty to lying to investigators. They ruined his life. He had to sell his house, and they probably threatened his kid, is my guess. George Papadopoulos, he's spending 2 weeks in jail. Nothing about Russia, lying to investigators. He now will have a felony on his track record forever. Paul Manafort had the book thrown over him. Oh, let's see, financial crimes dating back to 2007, bank loan applications, taxes, nothing Russian, nothing. What's amazing is he had a cooperation deal that ended likely because, well, he wouldn't lie like Jerome Corsi wouldn't lie. Meaning think about this, Paul Manafort tonight is willing to risk dying in prison than lie as the prosecutors would want. Jerome Corsi on the show last night, on my radio show for a full hour this afternoon, rejecting another lying investigator's plea deal. He might die in prison. 72 years old. He could have gotten a get-out-of-jail-free card and now is under Mueller's microscope, potentially facing life in prison, dying in prison, like Paul Manafort. And as he said last night on my radio show today, he's willing to do that because he can't lie before his God. That's what he said. His faith won't let him. Roger Stone is also literally feeling the special counsel's wrath. Now, none of the men I just mentioned to you had pled guilty to or admitted to anything related to Russia collusion. There's no evidence of any Russia collusion. None of them are being tried for any crimes related to collusion. 561 days of what? Now, here's the problem, and this is where we get to the crux of the matter. We have to analyze this deeply. What's happening is instead of seeking truth and justice, instead of applying our laws, in other words, equally applying our laws to everybody, equal justice under the law, what you're watching is a special counsel that has spun out of control, left way beyond his mandate, laying just perjury traps and literally trying to coerce people into what we call testa lying. In other words, Mueller's telling people, if you just say what we want. I mean, Corsi gave me full detail on my radio show today. Look, they were saying, just tell us, and listen, you probably won't even get probation. You know, if not, you're going to die in jail. That's the choice. And to think he's saying, I'm not going to lie. I won't lie. I believe in God, Jesus. I'm not going to do it. It's similar prosecutorial treatment that, remember, Sammy the Bull Gravano. You may not remember the case. I'll remind you. Killed at least, get this, that guy right there killed at least 19 people, got off no jail time. Then he just had to literally testify against John Gotti. And then after that, he was rewarded. Not only did he not go to jail, he was in the witness protection program, and he got a nice new house in Arizona. Isn't that nice? 19 people, no time in jail. Meanwhile, if you're not a notorious gangster or a Trump ally, the wheels of justice are turning much differently. Mueller's team collects lying to investigator guilty pleas like they're going out of style. They can't get the underlying crime or these people to say things that they don't believe to be true. Top Democrats, deep state bureaucrats, they lie, they get away scot-free. I've got the list. Look at the longtime Clinton aide, Cheryl Mills, Uma Abedin, blatantly lied when they told investigators that they had no knowledge of Hillary's private email. Really? Because they actually emailed there. Our friend and reporter here at the Fox News Channel, special report, Catherine Herridge, reporting either DOJ official Bruce Orr or Fusion GPS founder Glenn Simpson likely lied due to their contradictory testimony. Dirty Dossier author Christopher Steele, not only did he lie, he lied and leaked and was fired by the FBI. And then guess what? He was working still with Bruce Orr, fourth most powerful guy at the Justice Department. And now we have notes that show that he was trying to feed Bruce Orr, whose wife Nellie worked for Fusion GPS, information he was trying to feed Robert Mueller. And meanwhile, remember, Steele doesn't even stand by his own dossier when challenged in an interrogatory in Great Britain. James Clapper, let's go to the videotape. He lied under oath about national surveillance programs. So too did John Brennan. He also lied under oath about leaking. James Comey lied under oath when he said the report about the Clinton investigation had not been written before she was interviewed. Lie. Comey's second in command, Andrew McCabe. He was actually fired because of his pattern of lying. Where are the federal cases against these liars, against these people lying to Congress? Instead, what? We're pushing for charges. Fired FBI Director Comey actually defended the DOJ's pattern of lying on The View, literally saying, I lied, McCabe lied, but you can still be a good person if you lie. Well, unless you're a Republican, then they're going to put you in jail.
Your second in command, McCabe, was fired for lying multiple times within the FBI. You defended his character on Twitter. That's okay. Lying is okay internally.
No, it's definitely not. In fact, the McCabe case illustrates what an organization that's committed to the truth looks like. We investigate and hold. I ordered that investigation. We investigate and hold people accountable. Good people lie. I lay out in the book, I think I'm a good person where I've lied. I still believe Andrew McCabe is a good person, but the Inspector General found that he lied, and there's severe consequences in the Justice Department for lying, as there should be throughout the government.
The good people, they lie. The only problem is if you're not giving Mueller what he wants, then you're going to be charged with perjury. It's what I've been telling you. You want real Russia collusion? We've got it with all the evidence that Mueller doesn't have about Trump. We got the fixed email investigation, violation of the Espionage Act, the biggest obstruction of justice case I've ever seen, the dirty dossier bought and paid for by Hillary Clinton and the DNC. Why? To lie to voters and convince voters of Russian hookers urinating in Trump's bed in Moscow so that they won't vote for him. I wonder how many Americans didn't vote for Trump because of that leaked lie, that paid for lie. The FISA fraud abuse, lying to FISA judges, literally a FISA fraud extravaganza. And, of course, omissions that didn't even tell the judges that Hillary paid for it. Then we got insurance policies, leaking policies. Is Robert Mueller even going to ever look in that direction? I thought we were looking for the truth, for real Russia collusion. We've got evidence on all of this, and it's a slam dunk case. Why is he not? Because there's one set of rules in this country now for one group of Americans, the swamp creatures, or if you're a liberal Democrat or your name's Clinton. Another set of rules for everyone else. Try this at home. You're subpoenaed. You delete the email subpoenaed. You acid wash your hard drive. You have your devices busted and you have SIM cards taken out. Good luck to you. It's not going to work. In other words, we don't have equal application of the law, equal justice under the law. This is a two-tiered justice system. You, as an American, every American tonight, it should scare the hell out of you if the President of the United States and those who surround him are subject to what is now clearly a double standard political persecution. Nobody in this country is safe. Nobody. This is the United States of America. We're not a banana republic. At least we're not supposed to be. This is not how our constitutional republic and system of justice is supposed to work. We can do better. We better do better. We better demand better. We'll have more on this throughout the show. But first, we do turn to a network whose motto is, well, about as fake as their coverage. The so-called Facts First Network, CNN, forced to fire longtime contributor today, Mark Lamont Hill, but only after widespread outcry over his anti-Semitic rant during a speech at the UN. Take a look at this.
If we are standing in solidarity with Palestinian people, we must recognize the right of an occupied people to defend itself. We must prioritize peace. But we must not romanticize or fetishize it. Commit to political action, grassroots action, local action, and international action that will give us what justice requires. And that is a free Palestine from the river to the sea.
In case you don't know, from the river to the sea, Israel is located between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean. Mark Lamont Hill was literally repeating a call from terrorists and Palestinian extremists. In other words, you wipe Israel off the map. Now, while Hill was ultimately fired, literally disgusting far-left rhetoric from CNN anchors, contributors is nothing new. Their hatred for the president, everything that he represents, the fact that he won, has driven this network into a very dark, frankly scary place. Day after day, minute after minute, second by second, the coverage is more and more absurd, biased, and frankly hateful. We're going to show you a montage tonight you'll want to show your friends.
Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.